Well, Joao Neves is wanted by Arsenal, and this is another midfielder added to the list of midfielders that Arsenal really eyeing this summer transfer window. You know where we started from way back. Douglas Luiz, Zubimendi, we talked about Bruno Guimaraes, there is Fofana, Onana of Everton. Now Joao Neves in the mix. Very talented young guy, and if I told you look at him, he's really one of those that you will always want to obviously interact with and really have him at your team. I'm gonna let you know what are the pros, of really having this guy. I don't see any cons of him joining Arsenal, because for me, Joao Neves is one of those players that is going to be linked to Man United. I've been doing stories about him at the United Matters channel, and guess what? He's the real deal. He's the real deal. Very young player. He's just 19 years of age, right? And he is 1.7 meters tall. The distance he covers is really immense. And I tell you what, his price tag is really hefty. But all in all, we all know that nothing can fail when it comes to a player that is really wanted by this side of Arsenal. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're only watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And this is Rokani David, and this is the Rokani Media Football. Hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are. Now, there is another player of Arsenal that I was going to hit, obviously want to part ways with them, coming from the academy, and their players that are going to hit obviously bid their farewell to the side of Arsenal that we are going to be really talking about in here. Now, we thank God for the gift of life. The Muslims, Barak Laifukum, and may the living to God bless you abundantly. This is Grammy Bailey, who works for the HITC and TBR football. He has come out and confirmed to us that this guy known as Joao Neves, Arsenal have added Joao Neves to their list of midfield options and have intensified their scouting of Benfica star in the last 6 weeks. Now, this man, Joao Felix, has been the talk about town. I tell you, he has been the talk about town. And if at all you never know, or you never knew, better clean up your ears and really get to know that this is the real deal. He's the big deal. He's the man who has gonna hit obviously find himself in a situation of really getting into the best of the best in there for you. He has been playing for the Portuguese national team, and you'll be asking yourselves, where does he play? He can play as a CDM, he can play as a box-to-box midfielder, he can play as a right winger, he can play as a left winger, he can play as a central attacking midfielder. That is Joao Neves for you. And it's said he can also play in the central defense. He can play literally in every position of the central defense. That's why I tell you, he is a very, 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 very good player. And that shows you that he is really immensely talented. It is rare. It is rare to find a player who can perfect all those positions. And this lad can perfect all these positions. He's just 19. He's being monitored by Man City, Manchester United, Chelsea, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Liverpool, and so on and so forth. You understand? That's how Joao Neves is. If you see him play, you really enjoy, because he ticks all the boxes of a modern midfielder. I tell you that. He ticks all the boxes, you get, of a modern midfielder. And when you look at Arsenal, he falls so much into what Arsenal wants. One, when you look at Arsenal going in for young, talented players, he ticks that box. You can all agree with me. He's 19 and is a special talent. 19 and is a special talent. If I thought they could go for the likes of Declan Rice's, this boy is really great. Then, he is a multi-dimensional player. He's a multi-dimensional player. And when you look at how Arsenal has been signing its players with effect from last summer, they've gone ahead to go in for multi-dimensional players. Even the other summer, they brought in Gabriel Jesus, they brought in Zinchenko, and they brought in Fabio Vieira. All those players are multi-dimensional. Gabriel Jesus can play across the entire front line. Zinchenko can be played as a left back. He can be played as a left forward, right forward. He can be played in the midfield. He's multi-dimensional. When you talk about Fabio Vieira, he can also be played in the midfield in every position. He can also be played as a right attack midfielder. So it looks like Arsenal decided to go in for multi-dimensional players and made them a priority with effect from the summer of 2022. And we saw it in the summer transfer window of 2023, and we expect to see it hugely in the summer transfer window of 2024, because all the players they're really looking at: Douglas Luiz, multidimensional; Zubimendi, multidimensional; Bruno Guimaraes, multidimensional; Onana, multidimensional. Talk about this lad known as Joao Neves. He's a multidimensional player. If you've ever gone ahead to see him play, you will enjoy him. And I tell you, it's not too late, because what we call it's not too late because what we call the Euros are here, and is part of the Portuguese national team that is going to be playing in Germany. Though at the Portuguese national team, he doesn't get into the starting 11, but you'll see some minutes of him. He's a busybody. He has the energy. His intensity is really great. Press resistant. He can score you goals. He puts in some beautiful tackles. You know, when I look at him play, you know, he reminds me of N'Golo Kante, but a more talented N'Golo Kante. That is it. He reminds me of N'Golo Kante. Though N'Golo Kante was really shorter than him, you know, because Joao Neves is Joao Neves, when you look at him, he's 1.7 meters tall, right? And when you look at N'Golo Kante, I think was 1.6. Kante was 1.68. You see the difference is just 0.02. So they're almost of the same height. And I look at him as another N'Golo Kante, but the N'Golo Kante who is really having more skills, all more technically gifted, and this is Joao Pedro. And for Joao Pedro, he really adds a lot of goals to his game. N'Golo Kante, I don't think that he has gone ahead to score like 20, 30 goals in his career. I doubt, you know. But Joao Pedro covers huge distance. He can connect them into the attack. He has a skill set. He can even skip past players. That is Joao Neves for you. And he's that kind of player that you think is going to come in through and really get straight into the team, because he has all the attributes that Mikel Arteta has always wanted. But the big block is the amount of money. It is really a pro and at the same time a con, because if you talk about the pro, that money is fixed. That is the buyout clause, right? Buyout clause of this guy. The buyout clause has been set, and after it being set, you now know where we are. You set the buyout clause, meaning that any team that comes in through to meet it, it takes the player. And I tell you, Arsenal is a very attractive project, you know, though I think Arsenal will face stiff competition from Man City. You know, what shows you that these players are really good? It's the competition they've gone ahead to set. For example, Arsenal is going in for Guimaraes, even Man City. Arsenal and City are going in for Douglas Luiz. Now, Joao Pedro, you understand? It shows you that there is something special with these players that these two teams are really chasing after. But you don't expect one team to take Joao Neves, Douglas Luiz, and Bruno Guimaraes. You understand that it's going to be one team taking two, all each taking one. And maybe one will go to the other team. But I tell you, Arsenal and Man City are almost eyeing the same players. But however much I will love Joao Neves, if I'm Arsenal at 86 million pounds, I try to obviously do the needful and get in a different kind of player altogether in Guimaraes or Douglas Luiz, because I know how much those two players can add to that Arsenal midfield. I know people have gone ahead to say Zubimendi, but remember, Zubimendi is going to be playing into the Euros with Spain, and Spain is one of the teams that is going to be playing into the finals. And Do you think Zubimendi will come in through early enough to get into that team? And it's also the problem with Joao Neves and Zubimendi, you know, because even Joao Neves plays for Portugal. Portugal is really going to go far in the Euros, meaning that this man will join Arsenal late in the pre-season, if at all he's signed. But a question will arise that, but even Douglas Luiz and Bruno Guimaraes are going to be playing for Brazil, and Brazil is also going to go far in the in the tournament of the Copa America. Yes, but these players are really Premier League proven. You understand? It's very easy for a Premier League proven player to come and suit in like a glove. Look at Declan Rice and Kai Havertz. It has taken them one season to fit into the club, but the likes of Fabio Vieira, whose talent is undoubted, are still struggling here. You know, that's the beauty of signing a player who is really a Premier League proven player. You get him in, lots of things will change. You understand? So that's why I tell you, I would prefer Arsenal to first go in for either Douglas Luiz or Bruno Guimaraes, or take them too, because they will do the needful. But for Joao Pedro, the price is 100 million euros. That is 86 million pounds. And if you're to go in for him for 86 million pounds, why not add 14 and get in a Bruno Guimaraes into that team? That is it. And Bruno Guimaraes looked like he was waving to the side of Newcastle, because he knows to it that there is a team that is really going to trigger that clause before the 30th of June. And we are like 8 days left to obviously hit that milestone of 30th June, and see whether there will be a team that will go in and really trigger that buyout clause of Bruno Guimaraes. But Newcastle look like they will be willing to sell even after that has gone ahead to be broken, because they want to see to it they're raising money to help them in the summer transfer window. So for me, Joao Neves, very talented player, but however much Arsenal have gone ahead to add to them the list, I don't see him as the top player that Arsenal really gonna get it through. I mean, he's not topping my list. I think Douglas Luiz, Bruno Guimaraes, that's the order. I think it's Douglas Luiz first, Bruno Guimaraes, Zubimendi, then there is another midfielder that I've forgotten. How has his name skipped off my head? Then you go out to Onana, and I think Joao Neves might be fifth in there for you into the mix. So that is the lad that has gone ahead to attract interest from very many teams, and Arsenal has also gone ahead to add themselves on the list of people that want to sign him. Now there is this other lad. He goes by names of Reuell Walters. He's set to leave Arsenal at the expiry of his contract this summer. At the expiry of Reuell Walters is set to leave Arsenal at the expiry of his contract this summer. Was offered a new deal but declined. First team exposure now needed. Being monitored by clubs in the Premier League, Championship, Germany, the Netherlands, Spain, Italy, and Belgium. I'm not surprised with how these youngsters are really quitting the side of Arsenal. Do you know why? Arsenal has proven to be a side that doesn't, hear me out, Arsenal has proven to be a side that doesn't want to obviously gate in what we call youngsters onto the pitch. If you look at Mikel Arteta's era at Arsenal, he hasn't gone ahead to really get in youngsters from the academy and fit them into the team. Saka had already gone ahead to be ushered in. Emily Smith-Rowe, I think the manager gave him a chance, more chances, but he had already gone ahead to be ushered in. Then Martinelli was also already into the team, but Arteta just went ahead to obviously get him in the team and gave him a chance to feature regularly. But I tell you what, he is not a manager that you look at and say, right, he has gone ahead to bring in a Phil Foden, an Oscar Bob, a Rico Lewis. You know, for the 4 years he has been at Arsenal, he hasn't gone ahead to do that, because players like Hutchinson have gone ahead to leave because Arteta has failed to obviously create what we call a clear gateway to the first team. Look at Nwaneri, talented player, but he doesn't get into the team. You get? And it's really worrying because I know the pressure is there, but these players have shown it. I've seen this guy play for Arsenal in like 2 previous summer pre-season matches, and I think what Arsenal would have gone ahead to do after getting in very many players like defenders, because when you're having Tomiyasu, Ben White, you're having Jakub Kiwior, Zinchenko, Julian Timber, William Saliba, and Gabriel Magalhaes, you're having 7 players that play in the central defense as this young man. Then why don't you let him go? That is the big question. Why don't you let him go on loan to see to it that he improves? Because no player improves when he doesn't really get ample playing time. Every player improves after getting ample playing time. So he leaves the club of Arsenal. Arsenal would have gone ahead to like to keep him here, but I was going to tell them, I want a new experience, and that new experience has gone ahead to go his way, and it's on his head, and he wants out. That is the lad, and I think he deserves to go. But he's a very good defender. He can play as a right back, he can play in the central defense, and that's why very many teams are really eyeing him. And age is still on his side. You get? Age is still on his side. When you look at his age, he's 19 years of age, 1.8 meters tall, and he's that kind of player that has been playing for the Arsenal under-21s, 16 matches this season for the under-21s, 0 goals and 2 assists. That is the lad, and he was also promoted from the under-19. So it shows you that there is huge potential in him. I love him as a player. For the few times I've gone ahead to see him play, I just went ahead to fall in love with what he does. So that's why I tell you, it is a pain in the ass for the club of Arsenal to lose him, because you are losing out on a player who has huge potential and would have gone ahead, obviously, sell him, you know, sell him like for like £5 million and put in 2 clauses, what we call a buyback clause, if at all Arsenal want to sign him, and a sell-on clause. If at all that team sells him, Arsenal will get some profit. You understand? So that's what I expected from Arsenal to keep the player. But because Arteta is going to have to fail to really create a gateway into the first team for the people in the academy, that's why it's hard. And you see that Nwaneri guy, although he signed 5 years, I think it had a lot of financial consideration in it, because Arteta is not this manager that you're going to really back on to say to it that you get the first team because of how you play. You understand? So let's wait and see how that pans out. But I tell you, it's not good business for Arsenal to lose out on a player who has a huge potential, and them failing to convince him is really bad. But you never know what can happen before the 30th of June, because his contract is still on, and Arsenal might try to really do something special for him, and maybe he'll change his mind. But Premier League clubs, teams in Belgium are really looking for him. Then we all know that there is a player that bid farewell to the Arsenal fans. He goes by the names of Cedric Soares. He signed on the 31st of January on loan from Southampton. 2020, he has been here for 4 years, and there he comes. Once a Ghana, always a Ghana. That is Cedric Soares with his family. That's how they looked at the Emirates as they bid farewell to the side of Arsenal fans. And he went up onto Instagram and put out this post. What a team and what a club. When I say a team, I mean exactly that. Quality in every player, the professionalism that you show, and the amazing human beings you guys are. So thank you. When I say club, I mean all the departments, all the staff that is constantly putting all the hard hours on and off the pitch to make it possible to fight at the highest level. When I say club, it also means its heart, and with this, I mean you guys, the fans, that made this journey so unreal and unforgettable. So, to all the fans, I thank you. You'll always have a special place in my heart. That's the guy known as Cedric Soares. He has been at Arsenal for 4 years, but his impact hasn't gone ahead to really live on. And I don't think that people are really going to come out and really find themselves in a position of really feeling feeling like he's being missed at the club of Arsenal. You understand? Because that right back position, he couldn't get in at any point. So guys, thank you very much for watching it through. Tell me your thoughts about Joao Neves, wanted by Arsenal, in the comment section below, as he has been added to the Arsenal list of midfielders. Walter's leaving Arsenal, what do you make about it? And Cedric Soares. What is the biggest memory of Cedric Soares at Arsenal? That has been the Arsenal News Show. Rokani David is my name. We sign out for now. See you later. Bye-bye.